retuned it, we rebuilt the carb and put new spark plugs in it today. And now it's really happy. And this is a 9-second car, which is kind of funny that this is a 1968 car and it does the quarter mile in 9.87.
That's impressive.
So it's a cool car. Like every time it's here in the shop, which is once or twice a year, I'm like that little goblin dude on Lord of the Rings. I'm like, my precious, because I fucking love this car. It's my favorite car in the world, and I'm just honored that I get to drive it. And we had it appraised 2 years ago, and it appraised at $3.5 million.
Adventure doesn't wait for a cracked windshield. Windshield defense by Racing Optics is like a screen protector for your phone. Triple layer, race tested, and installs in just 20 minutes. Save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. The clear choice. Hi, I'm Tony, and this is the Jeep Talk Show Roundtable episode. Hello, Zoom people.
Good evening.
Hey.
Hello.
Don't touch me there.
Oh, yeah.
That's not what you said before. All right, so you can be part of our weekly Zoom meeting. Just go over to xjtalk.com/contact to find out how to join. So I'm going to start with who all is going to the 5th annual Jeep Talk Show off-road event in Hot Springs, Arkansas. What is it? Hot Springs Off-Road Park or Adventure Off-Road Park, Rick?
Hot Springs Off-Road Park. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God. It's 15 minutes from your freaking house and you don't know the name.
It's 22 minutes.
All right. Well, you're covered then. And Rick and is Glenn here with us tonight? I don't think I saw Glenn join, but Rick and Glenn are going to be the individuals that are going to be running the event. Rick, did you know you're running the event? I don't know if you were aware of that. This may be your first time hearing about it.
I heard rumors, but yet to be confirmed. There's Glenn. He just popped in.
Yeah, Rick and Glenn. So I'm telling everybody on the show to look for you guys out there this weekend, and you guys are going to be there Friday the 6th, right?
That's correct.
And the event is actually on the 7th.
Yep.
Yes.
Do you have anything planned? I mean, like I don't know. You just found out your appointment on this. Got anything planned for the event?
For me, I was kind of waiting to talk to the camp people because looks like it's going to be wet. I've only been there one time when it was wet, and my Jeep ended up messing up, so I didn't drive anything. Everything I was on that day was simple, easy stuff, and it was a little bit more challenging than what it normally is. So I haven't been on any of the harder things, and by harder I mean for anything above a 3, and when it's raining there. So I thought we'd, Glenn and I'd get together, talk to the camp people. He's been there probably more than I have, and just kind of get a plan and see. And the other thing too is I wanted to see who shows up and what their Jeeps are built for. I mean, everybody shows up there and built Jeeps that's ready to crank out some 5s and 6s. I'll go ride with somebody.
So I'm assuming that anybody with a stock Jeep, Wrangler or Gladiator should be able to go go out there too. So even if they're in a stock Jeep, they could go and show up and ride with you guys. Right.
There's plenty of easier trails. It just, until we see who shows up and what's going on, we'll Glenn and I. My plan is to be there Thursday night. I am still I'm still working on my Jeep, getting it all back together. So, but plan is
taking so long
Thursday night. Well, I made a dummy rookie mistake, and I got my front lower frame brackets where I wanted them. All right. I tacked them in place on one side, not in 4 or 5 places.
Oh, and they worked.
And then, when I welded them in, they warped. And then when I went to put the control arms back in, they would not go back in. So I had to cut those off and redo the whole process. So, I'm learning how to be a fabricator. I'm the hard way. So,
All right, Glenn, do you got anything in mind? Is there going to be any hazing? Because you know how people really enjoy the hazing.
Oh, yeah, we'll figure out something. Now, if it's going to be wet, fun run, the slab is usually that much more fun, especially with open front and rear diffs. You got to stay on the skinny pedal when you're going up it. I think we are planning on doing probably 2 groups, split up and go do the fun run and do Rubicon Ridge, the 2 badge trails in the morning. Probably meet back up and then break up into groups and see who wants to go where and, look at the weather and stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. I'm up here. I'm up here with the family. We're going ziplining tomorrow. So we got a couple days to have some fun. Then Friday I'll be over there at the park with my youngest and meet up with Rick, and we'll figure out what we're going to do.
Excellent. Well, that's really good. I appreciate you guys going, and I appreciate you guys stepping up to the challenge, since Bill and John Lee are unable to attend this year due to work. They both work for AT&T, so AT&T has some stuff going on, and they're in positions where they have to be available during this time. So I know John Lee was disappointed. Actually, John Lee's here. I know John Lee was disappointed that he wasn't going to be able to go. He's a hot springs aficionado. All right, so
I wouldn't say aficionado. I mean, I'm a fan. I've been there when it's wet. Say Rubicon Ridge is a lot of fun on that drop down when it's wet.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun trail regardless. In fact, we got some pretty cool video of Larry last time we were there, flipping and sliding down a half pipe.
Oh, the right near the oak tree where if you turn to the
they call it the slide.
Yeah. It's actually better if it's wet, because then people can't turn and screw up.
Turning wasn't an option.
No. What was it? 2 years ago at Jeep Jamboree, we had somebody, it was dry, and the guy was letting his son drive, and the son went over and I guess panicked, turned to the left, went up on the side, the hill, and flipped over.
Yep. That's the last thing you want to do.
Yep.
So I'm sure we'll be talking about this on next week's roundtable. So I'll mention it again. We record the roundtable every Tuesday. The pre-party starts at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. The show starts at 8 p.m. Central Time, and you should show up. And especially if you were there and you have some interesting things that you can tell off on Glenn and Rick, we would love to have you come and let us know all about the event. This is our first time outside of Hidden Falls and from Texas, because all the events have been at Hidden Falls, which is up near Marble Falls, and Marble Falls is near Austin. So that's really in John Lee and Bill's backyard. So that's it's been a good park, but the thought process was let's get it a little more centrally located, so the folks coming in from out of state don't have to drive as far. I mean, for a one-day event, that's some folks are driving a long ways to join us on our annual events. All right, so let's get to it. Last week we talked about the battery on the JL, the JT, actually on all Jeeps, and I mentioned about a battery monitor. I know one or two of you have purchased that battery monitor and have hooked it up. We talked about it on our Discord server. If you'd like to join our Discord server, you can just go to xjtalk.com/contact and look through there, and you will see an invite for our Discord server, and you can jump in there and talk about Jeeps and all kinds of things. We even have a Just Shoot Me channel, which we talk about guns. So there's a little something there for everybody. All right, so let's talk about your battery. So I don't have anything specific here. I think I don't know if there was a guy on Discord. I think it was Dustin that was talking about. He goes, "Great, you guys normally talk about Easter eggs and bullshit things about Jeep, and last week it was actually something that I had stuff to talk about. So I don't know if he's here tonight, but he actually gave us a lot of information there on Discord about batteries and some stuff he had gone through. So I thought it'd be good to talk about batteries again. They're so important to starting our fun. So I recently, I hooked up the battery monitor thing that I talked about from Ansel, and I was surprised to see that my battery voltage is about 50%. Even after driving the Gladiator for a while, it's only about 50%. And it dawned on me, I bet you it's because the aux battery is dead. So it only shows 50% charge because only one battery is charged. I have no problem starting it. Has anybody had any things? I can't tell that there's a problem with the aux battery at all. It starts, it runs. However, it will not engage the start stop function. So I think that means that the aux battery is not charged.
Yep, that's your aux battery going. I don't know if you guys can hear me. This is Nathan from Pittsburgh. I'm driving right now, but I have a 2020 Gladiator. I got about 2 months of that stop-start unavailable before the aux battery went enough that it killed the main battery. That was about 1.5 years ago, and then you won't start. You have to replace both of them at that point.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that. That's good. Has anybody done, or Nathan, have you done the aux battery bypass?
I had thought about it. Everyone does that fuse bypass, and you pull that one negative cable. I don't know. As far as I could tell online, I did it correctly, but maybe since everything was dead, it was too late. I couldn't get around even jumping the truck at that point, so I ended up replacing both batteries. I'm just running the factory setup right now. But maybe if you catch it before you kill your main battery, that's an option.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna try it. I mean, I have all the stuff to make that little jumper right now, and from what I remember reading, it just goes between on the PDC primary. No, what the hell am I saying? That's primary domain controller. I hate IT. The power distribution unit, the PDU, N1 to N2 is where the jumper is. I don't know if that's exactly right for on all JTs and JLs. So verify that before you try it. But it's just a 30 amp fuse and big enough wire to carry the current between those two posts, and it bypasses the aux battery. Anybody want to jump in there and correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, the problem with that is if you don't run that start-stop battery at all, if it goes dead, you used to be able to jump the primary off that secondary if it's charged, but if you're not running it, if you got a bypass with something like the taser, there's nothing there. And the other problem with that charging system on a JL is that everything gives you the warning light. So if you have any other functions that happen, could be wheel speed sensor, anything will trip that symbol to make you think you got a charging issue when it's really could be another event.
Isn't that special?
And it doesn't take much of a hit before your Jeep won't start. I think my main battery is at like 11.6 or 0.7 volts, and it wouldn't even attempt to start the Jeep. It'll just blink a red light at you on the dash.
Right.
Fun. So, has anybody found a good auxiliary battery for a replacement that's not $200?
I think Genesis makes a delete kit for it, or a relocation kit for it, where you can bring it up top.
Yeah, I looked at that Genesis dual battery kit. It's a pretty nice setup, especially if you wire a lot of accessories, because you can run them off battery too, and it's isolated from the main. But I think it's $600 or $700 for the kit, and then you got to buy 2 full-size batteries on top of that. You're looking at about $1,000 investment if you want to go that route.
Yeah,
not that it's a bad option, but it's not cheap.
Yeah, that's a big no for me.
They also have the option of, I think they have a relocation. So it relocates that little battery up top or something like that.
You do.
I think it allows you to change the type of change of the battery easier if you have an issue.
What that does, Roger, and Roger's correct, I looked at this as well. Basically, the power distribution box drops down to where the auxiliary battery goes, and then you rotate the auxiliary battery. There's a bracket goes on top of the power distribution box, but it rotates 90 degrees, so it's laying flat across the top of the power distribution box.
So you're using an AGM at that point.
Yeah.
If you go through the wheel well, the battery's not hard to get through. Pull the wheel well liner at the battery bucket. It's right there. I think it's 3 10-millimeter bolts, or they might be reverse Torx head bolts. I can't remember, but drops right out. Swap the battery.
That and a bunch of clips for your fenders.
Yeah.
I didn't have to take the fender out. I just took the inner plastic liner out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's one way to do it. No, you are absolutely right. I've done it both ways. No, yes, and the second time going through the fender was the absolute way to go.
Tony, do you have the taser in yours?
I do.
So did you have yours like your start stop function turned off?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So I actually believe, and I have no evidence of this, and I think Larry might have been alluding to it maybe, but I believe that if you use that function, it actually kills that battery.
That's what we were talking about here on the roundtable about a month or two ago, and that's why I tried turning the stop back on to see what it would do, and it does nothing. It does not work any longer. So
when we first got that in my wife's, for several months she had it turned off, and then I turned it back on one day just for the hell of it, and it would not work, and it took forever. I mean, it's several different long trips before it finally got to the point where it would start working again. And then later down the line, I turned it back off again, and I found it did the exact same thing all over again. So it's like, for whatever reason, if you turn that function off, it stops charging that battery.
Exactly. That's exactly what was said here. I forget who said it. It may have been Larry that said it. That it doesn't charge that battery, which is interesting.
Yeah, I actually brought it up. I think it was not this year, but 2 years ago. I brought it up to the guys that make the taser up at the Northridge party.
Did they have any comment?
They were surprised to hear about it, but all I got was, we'll have to look into that.
Right.
And because there's no real way to get a hold of those people by phone, I never went through the process of sending them an email. I give me a phone number, I'll call them and talk to them.
You're talking about Z Automotive, I think is the name of the company?
Z Automotive, yeah.
I got a good contact at Z. I will reach out and try to get an answer before Thursday.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful. Oh, I actually, while you're talking to him, see if they'll do an interview here on the show.
Okay. Yeah, I bet he will. So I will get with you on that, Tony, and let you know.
That'd be great.
And if they're not aware of that problem, I mean, you would think that they would like to be aware of it, because they're literally causing, potentially, if it's true, potentially causing those batteries to go dead and costing people money.
Mm-hmm. I bet you there won't be anything they can do other than put a little star in the instructions.
Possibly.
Yeah, I bet you they won't have any control over that.
It'd be nice if there was a way for them to manipulate the computer to say, hey, charge even if you're not in use.
Mm-hmm. I get the feeling that there's nothing that they're doing that Jeep didn't program into the computer.
They're just turning stuff on.
Yeah, there's just things in there that isn't generally known or accessible by the end user. That's kind of the feel I got. Of course, that'd be one of the questions I would ask them on the show.
Yeah, well, that's why, I mean, not only can the J-Scan or the taser do it, but the J-Scan can do it, just like that line lock where all that is activating your ABS brakes. Same with that anti-theft device.
Yeah. I still want to
activate the ABS.
I still want to enable that, but I think it would drive the wife crazy to have a pin that you have to punch in to move the Jeep. All right, hey Travis, are you available? Are you decent? Can we see you on the camera? Oh, what does Travis do during the show? You got to wonder. So anyway, I'll just say. So Travis invited somebody here to be on the show with us tonight, and you don't have to talk, but Diesel, thank you for joining us. A new individual here joining the roundtable for the first time. Keep your expectations low, and you'll be very satisfied with the show.
You're muted.
I wonder if they're talking to each other on the phone.
Travis was talking to and didn't realize he was muted.
I didn't realize I was muted. I'm like, I didn't know Diesel joined.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, no, if Diesel joined, y'all, that man knows. I want to say as much as Greg, not more. I can't judge.
How dare you?
he knows his Jeeps. This man knows his Jeeps, and Nelson's got a personality like Josh. And
Well, you said my name. What do you want?
I'm talking shit about you, Greg.
Oh, all right.
I do.
Well, fuck it. I'm going to cancel
Like
that fucking grill that's on its way to you.
It's not on its way to me.
Return the
Is it
thunder.
it's on its way? Because I will 100% be rocking a square
Derek,
grill.
Derek, did you get an email?
What shit? I missed it. Email about what?
I didn't get an email. I check them daily. Or
About
hourly.
shipping?
Yeah.
No. And
what the fuck?
Then that. Oh, let me tell you about that bullshit. So it sends you through like from your little website thing through Shop Pay or some shit.
Shopify.
Oh yeah, you gotta have an account to see that shit.
That motherfucker said it was delivered a week and a half ago. So I can't even track it through the shop.
How does it look?
Yeah, how does it look?
All painted and straight up, ready to go.
Yeah, like some scam shit. Something I'm used to.
All right. Well, I'll find out tomorrow because they he printed off 20 fucking labels, and the first 5 went out the door today, and yours was in that 5. So I'll find out.
Mine was in that 5 too, Greg.
No, yours is I think was
number 26.
I think it was box 18.
That's the first 25, Greg.
No, I think yours is in box 18. Because they packaged 20. So we could only package 20 because we only had enough headlight buckets and shit for the first 20. Now I have 60 more sets of headlight buckets and shit on order, but they're just not here yet. So, yeah,
you just said 20 and I was 18.
No, you're
20. You're 22. Damn it! You didn't ship out yet.
Listen, there's 20 that were being packaged. Out of the list, I made sure that Derek and his lovely wife were the first one that went out the door. The second one that went out to the door went to Tim Morris and his lovely wife. The rest of them, I don't know who the fuck they went to, but I think it was box number 18 that said Travis.
Travis, you are 18th in the line of importance to Greg.
I miss being 18. I would go
No, you got to remember, all those other fuckers paid.
That is a valid point. All those other
there it is.
Well, like I said, you're lucky you're not number 26.
Charity comes last.
So I'll just catch everybody up on this. Greg is the owner of Unofficial Use Only, and he is selling stuff now. He's been selling door pockets, which I have on my Gladiator. Installed them as soon as I got them. They're wonderful, very factory looking. Get rid of the nets, and now he's selling the YJL bumper. Popularized by the SEMA bill.
YJL grill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, but there's also a bumper coming as well, right? Because I was going to mention that next.
There's also a bumper, and the JK door pockets will launch very, very, very soon. So one step at a time. These parts are disgustingly expensive to manufacture, as I keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the YJL grill, which we did it for Quadratech, I don't remember, 4 years ago. There seemed to be enough interest, so we tooled it, and we're finally shipping some of the pre-orders. Now the downfall is for people who didn't get in on the early pre-order is the price just went up because now we're including all the headlight buckets, everything you need, and that was about $100 per part. So we had to raise the price. So the pre-order is still open, because I'm keeping the pre-order open until 100% of the pre-orders have shipped before we go to the full retail price. So, most people might get another 2 or 3 weeks of pre-order before all of the pre-orders are shipped. And then the price goes up to, I think it's $750 or something. I don't remember the exact price. You'd have to check on the website, but we had to raise the price to compensate for all the additional hardware we're putting into it. Yeah,
this is a turnkey solution where you get the grill, you get the square headlights, which are really rectangular, like the YJ and the XJ, and you get the lights and you get the buckets that they go in. So this is a complete kit that you can get.
Well, you get everything but the lights.
Oh, okay.
Of the
I
harness.
thought you were including the lights. Sorry about that.
No, well, I thought about including the lights, but if I include the lights, I'm going to just do the glass halogen, the cheapest light you can
Well,
get.
I was thinking for $100 more. That was really cheap for all that stuff. So that makes
Yeah,
sense.
well, just the headlight buckets. So the buckets that Onyx Data makes, and the headlight trim rings, and the screws, and the spring, and all of those little bits add up to about $130 a car, or $130 a grill retail. So I'm giving them to everybody for $100 because I don't pay retail, so I shouldn't give it away for retail.
Right. So anyway,
Well,
it's
and even
a
if
grill. It's a grill that you can put on your LJ or JT and have the square headlights
Or a
and-
JOU.
and be heated
Or a
by everybody.
Rubicon.
Well, and even if you added the headlights, as someone who sells headlights for a living, even the cheap halogens, you're adding over another $100.
Yeah, the cheap halogens, the cheapest I found them was like $29 a piece.
Well, I think it's
So that's
great that you're
another
not including
$60.
the headlights because everybody has their own taste in what they want to have in there, brightness and everything else. So
Well, and we
have
went down the light rabbit hole, right? Some of the coolest ones I found were from Holly. Holly makes a beautiful one, but Truck Light, Oracle, Holly, Sylvania. There's so many companies, and there's so many options, right? So I don't want to pigeonhole you into the headlight that I like. Like my personal favorite was a Truck Light, which they discontinued. My next favorite is that Holly. I think it's gorgeous, but we are gonna. I've been talking with Oracle. We might offer the Oracles and a couple others on the page, but they'd be an add-on. It'd be something people would have to pay extra for because I can't give everything away for free.
and
So are you,
I'll mention
talking about
this.
the Holly retro brights, Greg?
Yeah, those Hollies are gorgeous.
So we sell those at my job. I will say for a glass like halogen option, United
Yep.
Pacific makes a really good light.
No.
We got the
Hey,
glass.
you guys, I think I figured the mute thing out. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Diesel's on.
Yes.
How you
sir.
doing,
Yes,
brother?
sir, Greg, how you doing, buddy? Long time.
Oh man, I'm great. I haven't seen you in a couple years.
It's been. I think the last time was up in Moab.
Yep.
Yep. I got a glimpse of you running around in your Iris kilt skirt, and
Yep.
I'm telling you what, man, you're hung like a horse. I got a.
I was going
A
to say
little
that's
too
not a
much of a
pogo
view.
stick. That's not a built-in pogo stick.
Well, that's good. Good. to
Holy
finally
shit, the
be
party
off
can
of you.
start. Diesel's here. So anybody that
that's
doesn't
right.
know, Diesel is pretty famous. We all love Diesel. He does some wicked shit. You're running a shop now, right?
Yeah, so it's a stacked off road, and it's doing pretty good. We do a lot of good work, but me as a business owner, I'm pretty bad. I'm great with customers, bad with business. So
Join the
I'm still
club.
open. Yeah, right. But yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
No, that's awesome. So the first time I ever met Diesel, and this will date us, 2016.
Ian Johnson.
Was it there? So that was
Yeah, it was,
2017.
Yeah, it was AOP. In fact, we're getting ready to go racing there in about 20 days. It was he was doing his Power Nation TV show, and we hit the trails pretty hard those days.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hey, Diesel, was you a guest on the Chew Quieter broadcast?
Yeah. So I like those characters a lot.
I thought I heard you on there. Yeah.
Yeah, we try to have some fun. That's for sure. But I was trying to tune in when you guys were not to back things up, but the whole Z Automotive, that little chat thing, like when you have problems, because I sell a lot of the mini tasers and stuff at the shop, and it seems like the biggest problem with those tasers is little mistakes and holes in following the directions. Every single time we've had a problem, the chat, we talk and they're like, you missed this step. And it just seems like everyone I've ever had problems with, I was able to figure out, because you're right, it's hard to get somebody on the phone. And that little chat
But
thing,
there is no step to the start-stop function. That's one of those added functions that as soon as you plug it in, if you turn it off, it just automatically remembers its last state.
Well, I think what he's talking about is the power cycle. You have to start it, stop at 50 miles. I don't know. I've never read those instructions in detail, never done it, and I've always been able to make mine work. So it's a problem with you people.
Yeah, it is. It is. I had my wife's her I put one on her Gladiator, and man, she's driving down the interstate with reverse lights on. I had it so messed up. Oh yeah, she was like, "You got to fix this. People are honking at me. They think I'm in reverse going down the interstate."
What what year Gladiator is that?
It's a 22.
Okay.
I think that's the unlock button. Push 5 times and it turns those on.
Oh, it was a crazy deal. But I unmarried it and was trying to bring it back, and I made a mistake on that, and then it wouldn't communicate with nothing. And then the chat person I couldn't get, and then I just went, they were like, second step of helping you out is emails. And the emails, we got a little more detailed, and but getting a real live person, that was very difficult.
Oh, I see what you're saying. When you say chat, you mean online chat. When you went to Z Automotive and you were doing the online chat with them.
Right, and it's pretty good. But it turned out I was just missing the KISS theory. Keep it simple, silly. So as soon as I retrained my brain, I guess, to follow instructions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have no doubt that if you go through the process the way they have it in the instructions, you'll be successful, or you'll really have something to bitch about to them. So,
right.
But I've been lucky so far. So that's great. Yeah. So I like the little Taser Mini. Hopefully we can get them on the show and I can ask them a bunch of questions. Hey Jeepers, Tony here from the Jeep Talk Show. You know how you protect your phone screen with a protector? Now you can do the same thing for your Jeep, Bronco, Ineos, or G-Wagon. Windshield Defense by Racing Optics is a triple-layered, race-tested solution that installs in under 20 minutes, right at home or with your local installer. Made in the USA and trusted for over 25 years, it keeps your view crystal clear and your windshield safe from rock, debris, or whatever the trail throws your way. Don't let a rock end your ride. Protect your windshield, protect your story, and keep the adventure rolling. And now save 20% with code JTS20 at windshieldefense.com. That's windshieldefense.com, promo code JTS20. Born from racing.
Yeah.
I'm out. I've never heard Diesel say, keep it simple, silly in my life. And that kind of shocked me in that moment.
Well,
Who doesn't understand that this podcast is not PC and you can say whatever the fuck you want?
Well, I didn't know if we had any woke people on here, so instead of saying
it
stupid,
doesn't matter. No, we're good for non-woke.
If we do, they're
let
just
your true self fly.
If we do, they're just passing through. I guarantee you.
Oh, nice. So yeah, I was trying to talk to you guys that are up there in Arkansas, wheeling up there. Is that what we were talking about? What's that? Cold Springs or
Hot Springs? Yeah,
Hot Springs. Is that the trail you guys are talking about?
Yep.
So that was on my bucket list. I took like 5 months off of work and I toured the country, and that was my next stop. And I'm coming up from the west, and a super big it's not snow, but rainstorm hovered right on top of it. So I veered and went to Samore, Southern Missouri. Yeah, I went there instead. So I actually haven't got a chance to go there, but the way you guys talk, it sounds like it's a lot of fun.
So I apologize if it's more than one, but what Jeep do you have?
So there is more than one, but my main one is a 2012 JKU that I bought brand new, and that's actually the Ultra4 car now. It is completely, it's just a Frankenstein. It's a mess, but it's pretty fast.
Yeah, Greg can't leave any of his stuff alone either. So, what do you do with it now? Is that what you take off road, or is it just for off road racing?
So we do take it off road. Like we went to a little place in Kentucky. We did the Bourbon Trail, and then my wife and my son took turns driving it, and I actually held on to the dog in the passenger seat, drinking bourbon, and kind of enjoying myself. And
Well,
I mean, it's
when the family's driving it, you got to drink, right?
yeah, exactly. Especially the old lady. She was ripping with some side by sides, and she goes,
Oh
"What do you
my
want me to
God.
do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Try to keep up with these guys." They jumped out of the side by side. They were blown away that she was the one driving, and she was just laughing, grinning ear to ear. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's got some really great suspension on it, and it's very fun and easy to drive. You know, when you're out screwing around. When we get it up to race speed and stuff like that, it gets a little hairy. But
Is
yeah,
there some
still-
place that people could look and look at the build, or maybe follow the build that you did, or are you on the
Travis,
social media?
I think my just my Facebook. I mean, you'll see it when it was on display when Greg and I were, Daytona Beach, Florida, doing all that stuff. Where it was a beautiful Jeep. I mean, gorgeous. And I always make jokes that I ruined it, because it was a beautiful build. And then I don't know if you guys heard of that Kingdom Crawl, but we did that for 3 years and advanced quite a bit, in that. But I don't have like the what's that Facebook just for your Jeep build they have out in Colorado.
Oh, is it a group, a Facebook group?
No, it's like Facebook, but it's for your Jeep. It's like a page for your Jeep, and
That's interesting. I'll have to look that up.
I
I don't know
it's
about
pretty
that.
big. Yeah, you do it just like it's your kid, and you go through your build and what you have. People can click on your good-looking Jeep, and then they can see a list of what you've done.
Oh, I'm gonna have to check this out. That sounds really
I didn't
interesting.
know that existed, Diesel.
Yeah, it's big out
Talking
west. I
about
can't believe
Are you talking about a Rev Kit?
Rev
Anybody
Kit.
did.
He only tells his good
You're
friends,
far
Travis.
ahead of the game.
Is it Rev Kit? I think it's called Rev Kit or
Rev
Rev
Kit to me, when you say that, is our local like shop builds and like our Sunday.
There he goes chopping again.
Yeah, I thought he was having a stroke.
Yeah, Rev Kit does all that fun stuff.
Yeah, Rev Kit. So those.
But I didn't know Rev Kit drink tonight.
Travis, you're breaking up.
Yeah. Hey,
You're underwater,
It's
Travis.
just stacked off road. It's just stacked off road. Look it up.
Hey, Diesel, I got to ask you a very important question. This is probably the most important question about your Jeep. Everybody knows what I'm
Don't
getting
say
ready.
red.
You know what I'm getting ready to say.
Oh shit!
What is the color
What color
of
is
your Jeep?
Is that a joke? Because it's like 17 different whites.
I figured it was. So
Yeah, it's white, right roll cage. And you know what? Believe it or not, like you guys might, but nobody knows just how much work it takes to keep that thing looking as good as it is. Like those Ultra 4 races, we start out with a beautiful Jeep. When we're done at the end of 4 hours, we're towing off a piece of junk that should go to the junkyard. It's so bad. And we have to tear it down almost every race. Like it's very tough keeping it white. It's
all right.
tough.
So Diesel, what I'm hearing is that your Jeep, the primary color is white.
Yeah.
Correct?
It was white when I bought it too.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's the incorrect response. The correct response should be red. All Jeeps should be red.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, if you
Well, I
want
always
pink in a
associate
couple of years.
performance with red. Like everything I buy, that's performance. My steel braided coolant lines, all that. I always like the red anodized. I always thought the red represented speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Performance.
Fast moving stuff.
Yeah, was that ass kissing, guys? Did I ass kiss a little there?
A little bit. A little bit. We deny Tony and his red.
But no, yeah, red has always represented performance, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's good looking stuff. All right,
Race car red.
All right, so as happens here quite often, and I think it's part of the fun of the show, is we get off on rabbit trails, and I enjoy the hell out of it. So hopefully you guys don't mind. It's just fun hearing the interaction from folks. But let's jump back to a little more boring of a subject, which is batteries. Does anybody have? I mean, we've talked about the replacement battery. We've talked about dual battery setup. So
you were talking about batteries.
I got a
And
theory.
I wanted to jump in before we sidetrack. But the full throttle, I think Diesel's got full throttle in his batteries now. And I looked everywhere for him, but I needed a battery instantly because my 4XE died. And I started shopping, doing research, a lot of research. And I was like, I want to go full throttle. And that's the battery I do not have in my Jeep, but I want to, with my research, and I think Diesel will back me up on this, that's the battery you want to go to nowadays in the newer Jeeps.
Well, I think it's all the world, right? Like Optimum was so amazing, and they got such a good name that I think laziness and quality problems started happening.
Thank you.
Or
I
maybe
was
they
very
grew too
disappointed.
big.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with Optima.
Yeah,
Odyssey is
me
not a bad
too.
battery.
And the number one, well, not number one. I think vibration's probably number one, but like heat, the heat signature under these Jeeps up under the hood is so great. I think that's probably the biggest problem with Jeeps in general, with premature failure of the batteries. But even in the race car, ours is in the back, so there's no heat, not involved with any heat. And that Optimum battery, it didn't even last 3 races. It's like we were going through batteries every 2 races. So we did put this full throttle in there.
I like the full throttle batteries.
And I'm not a scientist with batteries. I went to, a lot of automotive school, so I understand how the battery works. But once we put that in the car, immediately when you hit the starter button for cranking speeds, it was night and day. And just how quick it started up. And I mean, you guys are motorheads. You know right away if that thing is cranking a little bit slow, you're like, oh shit, is this going to be a bad day? And just the opposite. As soon as I hooked it up, I was pretty impressed. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I
So is it an AGM
Optimas.
as well, or is it lead acid? I would think not lead acid, but
You know what? I don't even know that much about it. Be honest with you.
that's cool. You put it in, it works. I like that.
Well, I sold Optimas 20 years
I don't want to say
ago,
the wrong thing.
and they were garbage 20 years ago.
Oh, interesting.
Like every one of them I sold came back in less than 6 months.
I think
this is the full throttle. The full throttle battery is the best one I've used in years. I've been using them since I think 2019 when I met the guys at SEMA, and they just don't quit. It's a great battery.
Is it AGM, Greg?
AGM or lithium?
I don't ask me stupid questions like that. All I know is it fucking works.
I'm sure they're AGM.
I would think so.
Is it heavy or light? Is it heavy, real heavy, or is it lighter?
Oh, they're pretty heavy.
It's like a lead brick. I think they all are.
Yeah.
I mean, most batteries nowadays are all AGMs for the most part.
It's a BCI Group 34, 12 volt. I'm trying to read any other shit on it. Yeah. Model.
There's a cool looking horse on it.
Well, according to the website,
there's a cool looking horse on it, and honestly, out of every battery I've tried, and I've used a lot of them, it's the only one that I will just keep using until they fuck it up like Optima did and start making garbage.
Yeah. Apparently over
the
20 years ago.
Battery, I put them in every single build. I've been using them since 19, and I've never had a problem.
What's the comparative cost on them, Greg?
Well, it depends on where you buy it. So I'm a dealer. I don't retail anything, but I get a pretty good deal. But honestly, you can go on Amazon and pick them up for like $300.
Okay.
Although a regular battery is $200
in a
these
day and a
days.
half.
I'm sorry, Steve. You said you looked something up, which none of us know how to do.
They're AGM.
Okay. So you could literally
AGM stand for.
Oh, fucking! I gotta Google that shit.
All girls matter.
Aggregated glass mat or something like that.
It stands for you can flip your Jeep upside down and the acid won't run out of it.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times.
Absorbed glass material.
Yeah. No, all girls matter. It's way better.
I'm going with that. Yeah.
It's like FBI. Yeah, that's really cool.
Oh, glass mat. I'm sorry, not material.
But the heat thing's a real deal when it comes to all batteries. The heat and the amount of heat that's underneath the hood of these Jeeps, it is pretty severe. And I definitely think a battery that's tucked down near that converter, like on the new Jeeps. I mean, I'm not so sure that a heat shield might not help these Jeeps because, you know, it is what it is. We all love modifications, but in the grand scheme of things, in our Jeep, I didn't do the battery bypass just because the Jeep, the engineers didn't mean it to work that way. I have no problem shutting off that automatic start and stop because I hate it. For whatever reason, I just hate it. Just because I don't want to change the starter, and I just think that's just more abuse on the starter, right? But I definitely think heat is a big problem with the Jeeps on the batteries.
When I sold batteries 20 years ago, my battery rep would come in and tell us, and I'm in Northeast Texas, that the big thing here was the temperature swings. You'd have all the heat under the hood, and in the winters we would still get down, to below freezing. And then in the summers we were, 110, 115. So the temperature swings were hard on them. And we were told basically that if you got between 2 and 3 years out of a battery, you were to be happy and take your warranty and get your next one and move on.
Sounds like something a battery salesman would say.
Well, I mean, we sold 3-year warranty batteries, so it really didn't matter. But, people would come back in at 2.5 years and I'm like, it's not that old. Well, we'll give you a free new one, so it doesn't matter. So then you get your warranty started over.
Hey,
I've had one of those full throttles in the first one I ever got has been in 4 different trucks now, and it still cranks something like it's nothing, right? So every time I get rid of one, I just move the battery to the next one. And so since beginning of 2019, because I met the people in 2018 at SEMA. So, that's a pretty good track record. You got over 7 years of just flat out abuse, and it still cranks up a car like it doesn't exist. So I'm really impressed with them.
Well, I'm glad we talked about batteries tonight, because now everybody understands what a good battery, what you guys think a good battery is, so people can check that out.
Yeah,
and I had I had an Optima, which, everybody had an Optima. I had an Optima, and it would go dead in 3 days in my Jeep because the Dometic fridge and all the other accessory bullshit that was on it. When I put the full throttle in it, it would take...
Probably don't help.
Yeah, and I weld off it. But when I switched to the full throttle, even not running the Jeep, after 3.5 weeks, it'll still crank right up. So... killing an Optima in 3 days, and this one lasts, I've never gone more than 3.5 weeks without turning the key, but they always fire right up. And I've got them in everything, right? It's in my Roxor, it's in all 3 Jeeps, even the J20, that's what's in it, right? So everything has one of those batteries. They're just great batteries.
Anybody else have it?
No, shut up. My reviews those are great batteries. Now, granted, and that's the reviews I read and everything I did. I've got an interstate deep cycle in both my 4XE and my YJ, and I haven't had any issues. Now, I don't want to say there's not something better out there, but for my instant, I need a battery right now. I bought interstates, and they're deep cycles. I did 100% bought a deep cycle battery, not just your over-the-counter good battery, but I needed an instant, and I've got to give it credit.
A deep cycle battery is still an over-the-counter battery, and here's the thing: for a lead acid battery,
over-the-counter battery, yes.
For a lead acid battery, there are 3 warehouses and three manufacturing facilities that make every battery out there, and they make all of them. They don't just make this brand or this brand; all 3 of them make every brand. So I don't care if it says Interstate or Everstart or Bright Star, Ching Chang Chong on it. They all came from the same place.
That's a valid point, and I'm not going to argue it. All I know is deep cycles definitely helped me in my off-road adventures and power.
He read it on Facebook?
That is needed.
Yeah. So I was asking, does anybody have any experience with Odysseys? Not Optimas, but Odysseys. I've had for about the last 4 years.
I don't have any experience with them. I've never heard anything bad. They came out after I was already done selling batteries. But for, the devil's advocate, my TJ has a 6-year-old $50 1-year Walmart battery in it that still starts every time I go out there.
Yeah, well, and again, I think a lot of it's got to do with where you live and what kind of conditions you're in, and how often you're using the vehicle. If it sits a lot or doesn't sit a lot, you got cold winters.
Yeah, it
keep
does.
it on a tender.
People that run their batteries, dead and live in cold climate, that'll kill a battery quickly.
Batteries are it really just depends for batteries. It depends on the how hot and how cold they get and how rapidly they cool up or cool down and warm up. And of course they get more sensitive as they get older. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of having a battery in a vehicle that you can not have to start or monitor to make sure the voltage is good for 3.5 weeks. That sounds like what a battery should do.
You say
Odysseys
that,
are the
Tony,
only
and
ones that.
I never once thought about the temperature of my battery. Never once in my life I thought about the temperature
they
of
actually
my
have
battery.
battery temperature sensors on them.
Yeah, but Diesel's doing race car shit, so he's got to worry about temperature.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I'm not disagreeing with Diesel, but the reality of it is, I'm like, what am I pulling off that with my alternator? What am I doing? Because me growing up with my YJ, it was like, how many lights are you running? How many subs are you running? What amp is your pulling? It's different things, and it is to each their own. Compared to, now I don't worry about my subsystem or my lights because I'm running LED and they're low power, but I want that son of a bitch to start, and I wanted to go full throttle, but they didn't have one accessible the moment I needed it, because when my shit failed, it failed, and I had to be instant.
So Diesel, I got a quick question for you. You were talking about running your battery in the back, which I know that's a common thing to do, but you have to be concerned about the size of the cable, the gauge of the cable that's running.
That's where I was going.
From front. Oh, good, from front to back. And the other thing I would think you'd have to be concerned about, especially in racing, is making those things connect to one another. So you really have to go through a lot to make sure the cable's the right size and it's routed so that you don't wind up.
That's what she said.
Welding something.
So everything's kind of a double-edged sword, right? So there's positives and negatives to that whole.
Oh, I see what you did there. That's good.
Daisy. Damn, that was pretty good. I wish I would have meant it. So there's positives and negatives. So having a battery there, it kind of daisy chains off to the front. How it works with the switches and powering relays, and then a lot of bulkheads that bolt through the wall. But we have a pretty thick gauge all the way front. But it's no different than running like a massive amplifier in the back of your car. I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
We're running up. But we got isolators, I call them bulkheads, that actually bolts to each side of the firewall and then run through the center of the car. And we can daisy chain, like I said, off of those particular situations. One thing that you guys, like you guys talk, we all talk, and it makes our imagination think of stuff. And back in the day, I'm over 50, so I've been doing this a long time. And I know the talk of batteries it's kind of just now happening, and battery manufacturers are just really needing to stretch their legs on, what they're going to do. And you think of what's changed. And what do you think about the fact that we run key on ground now versus key on power, and that having a negative effect on the lifespan of our batteries?
Right.
Because even when you go buy a battery, you go to an auto parts store. I know you guys went and bought a 6-year battery. Try to find a 6-year battery now. What has changed? Key on power versus key on ground. I don't know. It's easier on electric components, but is it harder on a battery? I don't know.
Where were you finding a 6-year battery? Because when I was selling one 20 years ago, it was 3-year, and we had the best warranty you could buy at the time.
Man,
I think some of it's got to do with. I think some of it's got to do with
Odyssey had a 10-year shelf life.
the recycling of the plates and the purity of the plates when they're recycling them. Because like I know when it comes to like the Odysseys, that's one of the big things they talk about is the plates being virgin plates versus a recycled plate.
I could see
Odyssey
that.
had a 10-year shelf life warranty.
It's a lie. You got to get a definition on what virgin means to the girl.
It's not working.
Hey, Beth, can you give me some more? Look at Michelle up there standing. She's going to hurt herself. You guys see her up there? Jesus.
What is she doing on the counter?
She gonna
I have
fall.
no idea. I can't even wear my shoes in the house, and she's got her dirty ass feet on the counter.
It's different. She knows where her feet's been.
She's only 5 foot, so she needs to reach the top counter.
When my wife is making a big pot of chili, she'll get the little step stool out so she can get up where she can actually get into the pot and start. She's 5'2". So yeah, I hate it whenever she's up on the counter cleaning stuff. It just drives me up the wall. She needs a spotter.
I kid you not. So I don't mean to get off subject, but I'll make it real quick. My cousin, when we were younger, he used to open the doors and climb in the bathroom to get into the medicine cabinet, right? To, I don't know, get the vitamins, the Flintstone vitamins. He's on it, jumps off, the cupboard closes, catches his nut, and rips his whole testicle out of his body. Oh, yeah, I go there, and his mom is like picking his testicle up off the ground. That thing was like 3 foot long. And off to the hospital they went.
That's nuts.
Oh, man.
I see what you did there.
You call him half sack now?
Are you guys able to hear me?
Hacky sack.
Yeah, Jacob.
I was gonna say I don't think my microphone was working, but the Odyssey's had a 10-year shelf life warranty.
No, it's working. We heard you say it 9 times.
Oh shit! Then never mind.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the
Jacob's new name is Travis.
No.
the key on power versus the key on ground? I mean, I might be onto something there.
Well, you could also say that back when they first invented that, they probably thought that when the battery's being charged, that the juice was going into the positive side. So I mean, it could even be asked backwards compared to what you know.
Well, and if you look at the really old stuff, like the old 6-volt systems and stuff, they were the same way. They were key on ground, right? They weren't key on power.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Is that true story?
Yeah, if you go all the way back, like the first cars were all key on ground.
Willys or
no, even earlier. But yeah, Willys, all the way back until like the late 1800s, the very first cars, they were all key on ground. They didn't switch that until like the 60s.
Didn't one of the manufacturers doing that like up to 2000s or something? Can't ring the bell like some.
I don't know, but like that 56 Studebaker I just did, that's how it was, right? So, and my 36 Studebaker, trying to remember what else.
The starter button on the floor.
The starter button behind the clutch.
Oh, that's the bright dim switch.
Yep.
Well, I
didn't know that. I didn't know that about the key on ground back in the day. And then, that was a nightmare. If you guys work on Jeeps and you have customers that will come and tap into their bus line because it lit up the test light on key on, looking for a key on power. And it's still happening today. People trying to find key on power.
Well, Diesel, remember when LED lights first started to get real popular?
Oh yeah,
it was they were always backwards, right? Everybody'd look at it and be like, "Well, the white should be power, not the black," right? They were always switched, and it took them like 3 or 4 years to start changing that wiring around, and it's because most people still do the key on ground.
Yeah, and that's a whole sophisticated thing, like LED, like a diode. I mean, does anybody know what a diode does?
The one way.
Well, my question is, how come when LEDs first came out, you could run a 50-inch light bar with a 9-volt battery for a fucking weekend, and now some of these LEDs, like you turn them on and you watch the power draw in the car because they're just so massive.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Is it that you have a switched system now, or is it that between all the systems you're pulling so many more amps at any given time that just the flow through the system is...
The LED light, what was preventing them when they first started coming out was their heat signature. They would turn, if they put too much power to a LED light, the heat signature would burn them down. Yeah. So basically, just over the technology and over the days, they're learning how to develop that heat signature so they can put more power to these LED lights, and now they're burning them down. But you can take if you think of a graph, like when you have LED lights, you have A, B, C, D, E. The E being the worst. Well, you have your Kmart lights. Kmart. That's a story. You guys probably
wow, blue light special. Yeah.
Yeah. Put it on layaway. Put it on layaway.
And then you go all the way to how Rigid really made their money. They had A lights. The A series light is like the best cut diamond, right?
The Creed LEDs.
It was, and it worked. The heat signature, you didn't have to put a bunch of power to them. Well, they've learned how to control that heat temperature. So these lower lights, they've learned you put more power to them, they can be as bright as the high quality LEDs. Just learning how to control the heat signature, now they're using a ton more power.
Right.
Well, and when LEDs first came out, they weren't bright.
No,
like
they
the
weren't.
First light emitting diodes were still very, very dim.
Well, and LEDs rely on reflection more than
Well, the thing you got to remember about LEDs is instead of generating light all the way around like an incandescent does, LEDs generate light in one direction. So anytime you can have directionality with the photons going primarily going front-wise, it's not great for a camp light, but it's great for something that you want to...
shit, we're all the way down to photons. We're getting
deep.
You're getting renamed Professor Proton.
You need to pull out the white lab coat.
Hey, wait a minute. I want to get ready for this conversation. All right.
Oh, you need some tape on those frames, though.
You got the pocket protector?
I got no pockets.
All right. Well, this is a good point because this is an hour-long show. The Zoom room, the roundtable doesn't end simply because we stopped recording the show. So
I've had to switch and just cutting Tony off, but I've got cheaters now in the bottom of my safety glasses so I can see shit.
Oh, bifocals. Damn, I miss you, man.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
It's been a long time, buddy.
I've got my sunglasses.
We just need to get somebody. We got to do some fucking wheeling trip somewhere and do something fun.
And as I was saying, you can join us here on the roundtable every week, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I can mute y'all's ass. So
obviously, we don't care if you talk or not. You can go somewhere else and do this part, though. You do
exactly.
all the
time. Go away.
So you can submit your questions to the roundtable. Just go to JeepTalkShow.com/contact to find out how. All right, everyone, that's a wrap for this week's Jeep Talk Show Roundtable. A big thank you to all of our Zoom participants. You guys make this so much fun and informative every week, even the ones that keep talking when they're not supposed to. And, of course, a shout-out to everyone watching us live on YouTube. Well, we can't do that anymore, can we? Because of people doing shit they're not supposed to do. So we appreciate you tuning in. Remember, you can join us again next Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, for more Jeep Talk, random questions, and always a few rabbit trails. God, it was a lot of rabbit trails tonight. It was so much fun. Don't forget to visit JeepTalkShow.com/contact and find out how you can be part of the conversation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
Broadcasting since 2010.
Yeah.
Diesel doesn't know this is going out on YouTube.
On the conversation about bifocals, I just picked up new ones, and the reader prescription is stronger than the old one, and it doesn't work very well. I'm going to have my eye doctor order me a pair of Ben Franklin's, where the split is all the way across the bottom. So the whole bottom is readers, and the top's not. The only place I use them is in the garage. And
these are just the over-the-counter ones, but they're number ones. But I feel like I'm fucking blind as a bat, even though they're just number ones.
Well, I need the regular prescription also. So
I use it 3 times whenever I'm working inside clothes.
Mine just went up to 2.5, I think it is.
Wow.
Y'all younger than me, man. You all blind ass bastards.
Like I've got all the
Well, that's
LEDs in the
only
world,
close
so
Well,
it's
you know what
bright
they
as
said?
shit.
You'll go blind. They weren't lying.
You're my friend. You're my new friend.